Hi, this is Dr. Greg Oliver with Fat Doctor TV. Welcome back to another episode, and I'm excited to talk to you today. What I want to talk to you today about is carbohydrates and how they affect our body. You may notice from time to time when we do episodes here in studio that we have a picture behind us, and today we've got the skinny girl back up. We've had some different ones like perseverance, discipline, commitment, sometimes just a picture of some flowers. But nothing significant other than the fact that this skinny girl behind us here probably doesn't eat tons of carbohydrates. Either that or she has a genetic and biochemical disposition that eliminates them fairly quickly. She may exercise, but I suspect that she keeps the carb load fairly low and gets most of her carbohydrates from fresh fruits and vegetables. Let me tell you what I tell a lot of my patients, and that's about the American lifestyle diet and how it is adverse to us and how it creates fat. So we all know that we're in a hurry, we're very busy, the American society is into fast. So what happens to us is we get up in the morning, say we've got to go to work or get to school, we get up and we leave very little time to actually sit down and have a breakfast. Now, I'm not a proponent of the bacon and eggs and all kinds of heavy breakfast, but I do think we need to give our body fuel. What happens is we've been in a fast overnight. Let's say you went to bed at 11 and the last time you ate was 10 o'clock. If you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you haven't eaten anything for 8 hours. Your body needs some fuel. It's a lot like getting in your car and not having given it any gas. You're not going to get anywhere. The other thing you wouldn't do is just load gallons of gas into the fuel injectors or carburetor and expect to get anywhere. So by the same token, you can't sit down and eat this massive breakfast and feel good the rest of your day. But what we do is we get up, we miss breakfast for the most part. Most Americans don't eat breakfast. And we know that based on the weight loss registry in the United States that breakfast is one of those key factors that in people who've lost weight helps them keep it off. So I recommend getting some fuel, whether it's 200 or 300 calories in. I like to have lower carbohydrates and higher proteins in the breakfast. The reason that people then get to the middle of the morning and they're starving to death is because they missed breakfast. And if it's like the office that I used to allow where we work, what would happen is someone would bring in a box of donuts. And so you miss breakfast, you get to work, and about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, you're starving to death because you haven't had any fuel. You go back and you have a donut. Now that's probably 200 to 300 calories of pretty much pure carbohydrate, and a lot of it is simple carbohydrate in the form of sugar. Now your insulin level takes off, it spikes, and tries to drive that glucose or sugar into your tissues to be used. The problem is you're going to be sitting at a desk most likely or in front of a computer screen, which most of us Americans are doing, and we don't burn it up. So our body says, whoa, too much carbohydrate at one time. The insulin drives it into our tissues and we manufacture fat. Then we grab a quick lunch, usually from a fast food restaurant. Again, high in carbohydrate, high in fat, probably pretty low in protein. The afternoon comes, we're hungry again. So we go back to see if there's any more donuts in the break room. And if there aren't, which there probably aren't because everybody had the same issue this morning, eating those donuts every hour or two, you look for the vending machine, grab a quick soda and a candy bar. Another high protein, or I'm sorry, not high protein, another high carbohydrate, high fat load. Our body turns a lot of that into fat. Then what happens is we eat our largest meal of the day in the evening time, somewhere between 5:30, 6, 7, maybe even 8 o'clock. At that time, our body's slowing down and doesn't need the extra fuel, but we pack on maybe 1,000 or 2,000, or if you go out to a restaurant, you might even pack on 3,000 calories. Our body doesn't know what to do with it, so, well, it does know what to do with it. It doesn't know how to use it at that time, so it turns it into fat tissue. So by missing breakfast and eating most of your calories in the evening and keeping a high load of carbohydrate, what you really are doing is turning your body into a fat-storing, fat-making machine. And as we look around, 60% or more of the population being significantly overweight, 30 to 35% now in the obesity category, this is what we do. I tell my patients that, you've all seen the sumo wrestlers from Japan. Well, the way they get them to be so big is they wake them up through the night and make them eat lots of carbohydrates, lots of fat. So what they know is if they eat most of their calories in the evening and at nighttime when they're not going to use it, they'll create a lot of mass. And so they eat tons and tons of calories in the times that your body just really isn't going to use it. Now, if you can cut your carbohydrates down dramatically, and I recommend below 100 grams of carbohydrates a day, and when you do eat your carbohydrates, get them mostly from complex carbohydrate sources rather than simple sugars, such as juices and candies, things like that, then your body will burn that up. It'll also start to look for other sources of calories, and where it looks is in your fat tissue. It'll convert your fat through a process called lipolysis over into ketone bodies or ketones, and your body will start to use those as fuel to supplement the deficiency in calories it gets from carbohydrates. Also, I recommend increasing the proteins in the diet. So you want to get upwards of 75 to 100 grams of protein a day. Our body turns that into glucose, which is a preferred fuel in the body, and but it takes a lot of equipment and a lot of calorie burning mechanisms in the body to convert that protein into amino acids and then convert it through a process called gluconeogenesis, making of glucose, into that glucose as a fuel. So what we want to do is we want to lower the carbohydrates, increase the proteins, modify the fats a little bit, and certainly stay away from the trans fats. Don't worry so much, I believe, about whether it's saturated, monounsaturated, things like that. But really cut those carbohydrates out, and your body's going to start to burn fat very, very efficiently, and your energy levels will go up. You'll start to feel less bloated. You'll start to feel like you can get out and do some exercise and get active. And I'm just excited, and we're going to go into some very specific details of a couple programs I use called Lean 15, second program I use called Lean 3, and a third program I use, and for lack of calling it anything else, I'm going to call it Lean 7-900. But I'll explain that in future episodes. There's lots of great programs out there, though, that literally lower the carbohydrates, raise the proteins a little bit, and balance those fats in your diet. So if you want to keep the carbohydrates down, you'll move more in the direction of our skinny lady here. Obviously, we don't need everybody or don't want everybody to be runway models out there, but the truth is all of us are trying to get a little leaner, a little healthier, and to live life longer. So from Fat Doctor TV today, I hope that this helps and gets you on your path to losing the fat that you want to lose and getting to the point that you can really live life to the fullest. So until next time, Dr. Gregory Oliver on FatDoctor.tv. We'll see you soon.